So raise your hand if you see yourself in one of these three characteristics. You're interested and passionate about so many different fields, and your curiosity brings you in so many different directions. You can achieve good results in a lot of different and seemingly unrelated fields. You're creative, decently smart, and a fast learner. Well, if you have these characteristics, welcome to the family. You're most likely a multipotential. I found out I was a multipotential a couple years back, and once I found out, I really felt like for the first time I was not the weird one. Well, I am, but multipotentiality is an educational and psychological term referring to the ability and preference of a person to excel in two or more different fields. And it can also refer to an individual whose interests span upon different fields, areas, and disciplines. I don't want to make this video an hour long, so here's a list of all the things that I have a bit of experience with and that allow me to think of myself as a kind of a multipotential. But don't worry, I'm gonna have a separate video about multipotentiality coming soon to the channel, so subscribe for that if you're interested. And today I want to focus on something specific. And it's something that touches everyone, but it's, I think, 10, 100 times worse for multipotentials like me. It's no secret that the internet and especially social media have us comparing all the time and exposes us all the time to successful people. Successful athletes, actors, and influencers or top performers in insert name here field. Comparing our level of success, our level of making it in life with other people, I think it's embedded in human nature. And for most people, this is limited to the 1, 2, 3 fields that they are working in or they are passionate about, and this is the comparison syndrome. But as multipotentials, we have a slight problem here, and you might have guessed what it is. We discover a field or we discover an activity, a discipline, and we go through the first 10, 20 hours like a breeze. We are fast learners, we are good at starting something, and then we get cocky and we say, oh, I can be good at this. I can have success in this. And of course, you look up to people that have specialized in that have reached an amazing level in that. And this leads to what I want to talk about in this video, which is the bigger brother of comparison syndrome for multipotentials. Comparison syndrome Pro, Max, S, Ultra. We as multipotentials are invested in so many different fields and things we like and interests we have. And we end up saying for all of those, I can do it. I can be that. I can be a photographer. I can be an artist. I can be a developer. And I can be all of those things. Because in my case, for example, I follow entrepreneurs, I follow developers, I follow artists, I follow musicians, and I follow photographers and video makers and YouTubers. And I feel like I can be potentially all of those things. But of course, these people, these hyper successful people in those fields, well, they have been doing that all their lives. They have put in 10, 20,000 hours into that specific thing. So of course it makes sense that they are at the top of their game. If we take a normal distribution of people in their field, we get the top performers, the hyper successful ones that are here in the top 0.01%, the pinnacle of that discipline. But then as a multipotential, you end up taking all these different fields and disciplines, taking all the most successful people at those things, and you create in your head this idea of hyperhuman prototype, an impossible to reach person to be. It's the successful entrepreneur who is also a rock star, who is also a top-level photographer, who is also an Olympic champion of swimming. It gets out of hand really quickly. So let's call this superhuman person Tom. And with the power of statistics, we can see that the probability of being in the 0.01% of 10 different things at the same time, well, that is 10 to the power of minus 20, so this number. And that's because this hypothetical Tom guy doesn't exist. It cannot exist. You fabricated him in your mind. Now, of course, there are people that reach success in multiple fields. Take, for example, Tom Ford, successful designer and an acclaimed director. Or the biggest one of all, which is Leonardo da Vinci, which was a sculptor, artist, architect, engineer, scientist. But really, do you want to feel behind in life because you're not Leonardo da Vinci? Of course not, that's totally insane. But from my personal experience and seeing what other people struggle with online, I see that this is a very common thing among multipotentials and people with a lot of different interests. So let me tell you 3 things that I've discovered in the last years that are being helpful and that are helping me look at things in a different way, with a different perspective. Luck. If you're an ambitious person, probably at some point in your life you came into contact with self-help books. And I think self-help books in general are very positive. They allow you to build a mindset framed around hard work and dedication and never giving up, which are all fantastic things. But they all leave out one small detail, which is simply luck. The most hyper-successful people in the world are, yes, of course, hardworking, yes, they are talented, but they've also been extremely lucky. They've been at the right place at the right time. And luck is not fun, because you cannot control it. You cannot control luck. You can control how many opportunities you expose yourself into, but you cannot control luck. And of course, a self-help book titled "You Can Do It If You're Lucky" won't sell so well. So as an example, take Billie Eilish, one of the most acclaimed pop singers of our time. Of course, she's super talented, she works super hard, but in one of her interviews, she admitted that part of her success was due to the fact of simply being born in Los Angeles, which is the entertainment capital of the world. But most of the times, we just fail to realize this, and we fall into the trap of thinking that we didn't work hard enough or that we weren't talented enough. And if you want to explore the role of luck in our lives and in success, I suggest you these two books, Fooled by Randomness and The Unfair Advantage, and I'll leave the links to them in the description. They are super interesting. A second thing that I started doing that helped me a lot, which is something I do while journaling. I started journaling every day, and every once in a while I do this particular exercise. I sit down with my notebook in front of me and I write down a week or a day in my future ideal life, whether it's in 3, 5 or 10 years from now. And of course, every time is going to be slightly different. And by doing that, you will see that a lot of things that you consider important or meaningful now are not going to make a big difference in your future life. You will identify those areas, those things that you really want to succeed at, but then you will also see that your life will be great even without a lot of things that you consider important now or feel like you have to achieve some success at. And this doesn't mean that you have to stop doing things that you're passionate about. Maybe you love guitar and playing guitar, but it doesn't mean that you need to be the next super world famous guitarist or reach a super high level of success in guitar to be happy and to achieve the life you wanted. And the third thing is not really a tip on how to go past this hyper comparison syndrome, but it's just to appreciate how great it is to be a multipotential. You have the possibility of learning different things and different skills in a very short amount of time. You're a super fast learner, you're most likely a creative person and a decently intelligent one. And I think that it's such a great advantage. So to all the multipotentials out there, take advantage of how your brain is hardwired. It's a great advantage in life. I struggled with this hyper-comparison syndrome for a long time, but slowly I'm starting to get over it. And I hope that this video helps you even a tiny bit to do the same. So this was all for today. I'm Enrico, and in this channel we talk about innovation and personal development. So if you like this video and you want to see more content like this, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And so with this, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.